Time is 6 o'clock. Today is Monday, July 8th, 2024. 6 o'clock, I'm at 6 p.m. This is the Community Development Corporation regular meeting. Item A on the agenda is call the meeting to order. Item B, invocation and pledge of allegiance.
Let's pray. Father, we thank you for today. We thank you for the rain that we're receiving. We ask for rain up in the reservoirs. Ask prayers for those that are in the path of the hurricane and blessings on them and prayers lifted up to those that have lost lives and property. Thank you for Los Fresnos. Thank you for the folks here that serve our community. Thank you for their efforts, and we continue to ask you to continue to bless them and their decisions and all the things that they do. Thank you so much. In Jesus' name, amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Moving on to item C, Citizens Forum. Ms. Jack, anybody sign up? That being the case, we'll move on to items D, action items. Under number 1, consideration and action to approve the minutes of June 3rd, 2024. Do I hear a motion?
Yes, sir. The minutes seem factually correct when I reviewed them. And with that, I'd like to action to approve the minutes from June 3rd, 2024.
I'll second that motion.
There's a motion and a second. We approve the minutes of June 3rd, 2024. Any questions, comments, discussion? The what? I know, I noticed. And that being the case, any questions, comments, discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, it's unanimous. Item 2, somewhere in your packet, consideration and action to acknowledge the June 2024 financial report under A, monthly, B, year-to-date, and C, sales tax report. Mr. Milo.
Yes, sir. It will be on page number 8 in your packet. If you'll turn there, you see the list of checks. There's 13 of them, including the, some of them are real checks, some of them are drafts. So total of $11,075.87. Nothing out of the ordinary. Everything was prior approval from you, either payroll or signed grants and payments. The next page on packet page 9, we are 9 months through the year, and that means 75% revenue we want to have, or 75% expenditures. If you'll see interest earned, we're at 107%, so that's good. Sales tax, we're at 81.66, so that is good too. This period, we received $50,815.90 in sales tax, so total of $484,335.35, 82% of our budget, so we're doing very well. As far as the expenditure lines, I brought up 2 of them for you that are part of the Veterans Memorial and the paving project that was prior approved several years ago and just now being done. That's special projects, and we spent $241,454.60 and $281,000 in capital outlay. So we do have the monies for those and reserves. So we're at 98% of the budget, but of course we saved from last year so and previous years to be able to do those 2 projects. All the others are in good shape. The final on packet page 10, you'll see that we had a 28.27% increase. So you get nervous a little bit. I know you are nervous the last couple of months, so we did a magic and you're not nervous anymore. No, I'm just joking. Anyway, total of $473,625.92 already received this year, and it's $47,457.84 above last year and 11.14% above last year. So business community is doing well in Los Fresnos, and you know, sometimes they come in at different times for different reasons. Maybe someone pays late. There's special things for a reason. So, but overall, it's good. 11.14% increase. That's
Thank
all
you,
my
Mr.
report.
Malum. Does that conclude your report?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Excellent. Do I hear a motion?
I'll make the motion that we consider and act on, to acknowledge the June 2024 financial report, A, monthly, B, year-to-date report, and the C, sale tax report.
I'll go in second.
We have a motion and a second that we approve or acknowledge the June 2024 financial report, monthly, year-to-date, and sales tax report. Any questions, comments, discussion? That being the case, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, it's unanimous. Moving on to item D3, consideration and action to approve a signed grant for Imagination Station Academy located at 31121 State Highway 100. And that's on page 11 of your packets.
I'll go ahead and summarize. The grant committee met prior to this meeting, and on page 12 is the actual application, and 13 you can see what the sign will look like. The low quote is $25,100. We've got a maximum of $3,750, so our recommendation, as well as the grant committee's recommendation, is $3,750 CDC max.
Question, where about is this located at?
I believe it's gonna be that plaza, right, Mr. Madam, on 100?
Medina's Bakery?
Yeah, I believe where that bakery's at.
Used to be a daycare there?
Daycare and, or a bit,
For the imagination station?
yeah, is that the one, right? 100?
Over there on Highway 100, you know where Chopsticks is? Yes. It's across the street. It's a brand new building.
That big building.
Okay, yeah, that's where it's at, okay.
Any further questions, comments, discussion?
I'll go ahead and make the motion, Mr. Oh, you did already? No, not yet, okay. I'll make the motion for Imagination Station Academy, for a sign grant. Lowest bid being graphic spot for $25,100. CDC's portion will be $3,750, which is the max.
I'll second that motion.
There's a motion and a second that we approve the signed grant for Imagination Station Academy at the 31121 State Highway 100, with the CDC portion being $3,750, which is the max. Any questions, comments, discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, it's unanimous. Moving on to item 4, consideration and action to approve a signed grant for Legacy Insurance and Wealth Services LLC located at 32819 State Highway 100, Suite 107, and that's on page 20 of your packet.
As you can see, the application there on page 20, there's 3 quotes. And then page 21, right across, you can see a nice sign there for Legacy Insurance and Wealth Services. The low bid is $4,890. The CDC half portion will be $2,445. That is staff's recommendation as well as the committee's recommendation.
This is the one, I think, by Medina's Bakery, right? Where that, Miss Jackie? Yeah, that's the one that we're talking about.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
I'll go ahead and make the motion for the, this is going to be for the sign grant for Esmeralda Montezuma, Legacy Insurance and Wealth Services, LLC. Lowest bid was the graphic spot LED sign for $4,890. City's portion would be half of that, would be $2,445.
I'll second the motion.
There's a motion and a second. We approve the sign grant for Legacy Insurance and Wealth Services LLC at 32819 State Highway 100. Any questions, comments, discussion? That being the case, all in favor say aye. Ayes have it, it's unanimous. Moving on to D5, consideration and action to approve an interior grant for Divine Blossom Events located at 33478 FM 803, Suite 8B.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, this is an interior grant, and it is for chairs, furnishings is what we would call them. If you'll remember, it qualified prior that as long as it's something to help in their business. Furniture to go is a low bid of $55.40. Half of that is $27.70. That's our recommendation and the committee's recommendation.
Do I hear a motion?
Make a motion to approve the interior grant for Divine Blossom Events located at 33478 FM 803, Suite 8B.
I'll go ahead and second.
There's a motion and a second. We approve an interior grant for Divine Blossom Events located at 33478 FM 803, Suite 8B. Any questions, comments, discussion? That being the case, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, it's unanimous. Moving on to item 6, consideration and action to approve an interior grant for Legacy Insurance and Wealth Services LLC, located at 32819 State Highway 100, Suite 107. And this is, just to be clear, this is separate from the sign grant, which was item number 4. This is an interior grant. Mr. Milo.
That is correct. On page 34, if you'll write on that application, Part A, just so that we can, I can clarify, we're doing Part A and Part B. So Part A is furnishings, front desk, a chair and some waiting area, conference table, conference chairs. And so we bid them, got quotes for them separate. And if you'll see, the low bid is from Home Depot at $1441.76. Half of that, if you'll write there under the staff recommendation of $720.88. And so you can see that those are pieces that we have funded in prior times. So that is Part A, and our recommendation from staff and the committee is for Part A, $720.88 for the CDC's portion. Then if you'll flip over to page 54, 5-4, and on that one put Part B. And that is also interior with this, but it's for painting and fixing the walls and replacing a couple of doors. There's 3 quotes as well there. Montezuma Home Builders is the low quote of $23.50. Half of that, if you'll write that down for the CDC portion, is $11.75. $1175. So if you add the two together with the furnishings and the painting, it's a total of $1895.88 for Part A and Part B, and that's what staff is recommending as well as the committee.
Thank you. Do I hear a motion?
I make a motion to, the interior, wait, this is legacy insurance, right? Yeah. Looking at previous meeting and this meeting. Part A for $720.88 for the CDC portion, and Part B, $1175 for the CDC portion. Total for both Part A and Part B, $1,895.88.
And I'll make, I'll second the motion to approve the interior grant as explained by Mr. Cappan. 720 for the first part, 720.88, and 1,175 for the second portion of the interior, for a total of 1,895.88.
We have a motion and a second to approve parts A and B of item 6 for a grand total of $1,895.88 being the CDC portion. Questions, comments, discussion? That being the case, all in favor, say aye. I'm sorry, you have a question?
Item,
Part A and Part B.
item 6 is Part A and Part B. Yeah, 4 was first signed grant.
Any further questions, comment, discussion? That being the case, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, it's unanimous. Moving on to item D7, consideration and action to approve an agreement with Placer for analytics for events and business development. Mr. Milo?
That's found on page 58 and 59 in your book. Came across this is a tremendous help that we need. If you'll recall, we utilized Retail Coach on several different times and paid them pretty good sums of money to give us a snapshot of today. And they do a report and everything is good. But then as soon as today is over, that information starts getting old. And so through time, we still have that old, like we have it now from early 2023, I think is the latest data we have. Now we're in middle of 2024 and you see the sales tax receipts, you see a lot of businesses opening up. We have to go back for that information, keep going back for that information. Placer actually does business with Retail Coach and they get information from them as well. Retail Coach gets information from lots of different sources, but it's very similar information that they can get and provide us, and we become a user of their data. They update their data the data is always 4 days old. They update it daily. And so the data is always 4 days out. So if we want a business, and that's not as critical as the 4 days as like an event, say we do, when we do the Conjunto Festival, we want to see how that impacted Los Fresnos. We can get that data after 4 days. So if we had it this past weekend, Friday and Saturday, by Wednesday, we can get on there and we can pull data to say a better idea how many people came, who came, and where they're from, and all of the same data that I've showed you before. A lot of it comes from cell phone. We can do it for rodeo. We can do it for even like our Independence Day celebration that was last week. We could, look at that and see who's coming. It'll help us then decide, hey, who are we missing? Can we maybe look at other places? That's just on the events that we've never had before. For the businesses, as you got businesses come in, Desi's always saying, hey, I need something for a restaurant. And it's hard to get that information. Well, we can be users on here and it'll pull the data, and we actually can do any event in Texas. He had us for we could do any event in the United States, but I don't really care about those. We don't, so it was a lot more expensive than this, but this brings it down to all we really care about is Los Fresnos. So there's two different options. Is we can start in August and September and then go for the next year, and it's 93.33. Or we can do this option 2, 26 month, this August and September of this year, and then the next 2 years, they reduce it by $1,000 or so if we do that. And we're limited to 2 named users, but that's okay. We don't need a bunch of users. There's not a bunch of us anyway that wears those hats, and it'll be a great tool for economic development and attracting new businesses to come in Los Fresnos.
So we're almost getting real-time reports.
Pretty close to as real time as you can get it.
Now, which one do you recommend, Mr. Motlem, the 2-year or the?
I recommend option 2 just because I think I've looked at the data. They actually did the rodeo this past year for us. And he pulled it back to, I think you can go to 2017, and it was way more people than we've ever dreamed. They're looking, we always said 20 to 25,000, but their data shows 35 to 40,000, which is considerable amount more than what we ever thought over that 3-day weekend. Anyway, he did that as a demonstration, and it's really, really good data.
Thank you, Mr. Mylum. Any questions, comments, discussion?
And that information.
Loud enough.
And that information would be used in case like our rodeo. We call it the smallest rodeo, but by the numbers, it's not getting real. It's not small at all. To expand, maybe more
Maybe
facilities?
expand, but it helps sponsorship. It helps you decide, hey, are we getting our value for our money? The CDC board gives a considerable amount of money. Are we getting money and value for that? So that's what this board can use it for, as well as other events. Hey, we're not doing well in that event. Why are we not? Can we do something better? And so as you fund those, we can utilize that as a tool to help. We can also share it with those organizations so that they can utilize it for better sponsorship or modify what they're doing. That's for the events part of it. The business part of it is if we, I think we need a rental place here that rents all kinds of stuff. I need a shovel today. I don't want a shovel. I don't want to own a shovel, but I need one today. I can go rent one for today. That's an example. But mostly it's bigger equipment than that. But I would love for us to have a rental place, but I don't have data to go to them and say, look, this is what Los Fresnos can offer in people, numbers of people and their economic backgrounds and all of the data that those people need to decide whether Los Fresnos is a good place or not. So that's why we'll use it for the business piece of it to attract more businesses. Way we had to do it before, if you'll recall, is, I know one of them was 30 grand for retail coach to come and do this, and they gave us it's like a smorgasbord of things, and we can give it, but then after about 6, 8, 9, 10 months or a year, it's out of date, and so we need to update that again, and then it costs more money to do that. And this, we can do it real time.
I have a question. Desi calls it Highway 100,000. not Highway 100. Is there any way to tie in maybe through TxDOT, the traffic volume through this road during those events?
I don't know.
Just a thought. Okay, but it seems to, people are also looking, the people that are wanting to sell and utilize this report for business purposes will also want to see how many people are getting exposed to my advertising, let's say. So, maybe we can dig that up.
Mark, I had a question. I think I heard you say a one-time report from that retail coach was 30,000?
That was the initial one that we did 4 or 5 years ago. And then we waited like 2 years, 2.5 years, and then we updated it. And I can't remember the price, but it was around $3,000 is what I remember. So at any time, we could say, hey, we want it updated, and it's going to cost us twice as much as one of these would.
Yeah, it looks a lot more economical.
Correct,
to do
because
this.
Any questions, comments, discussions?
Mr. Mylum, will Desi have access? Will he be one of the ones that have access to the system?
I work closely with somebody, yes, for all businesses. Any business will be able to get information for their business plans as well. Data, real time. That's the benefit of this thing, is that we don't have to use those data. It's actually real time. Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for that.
Any further questions, comments, discussion? Do I hear a motion?
I'll go to make a motion to approve an agreement with Placer for analytics for events and business development, as recommended by Mr. Mylum. We'll go with option 2, which is 26 months. I believe it's starting August 2024 through September 2026 in the amount of $16,166.
And I'll second the same motion to approve the agreement with Placer for analytics.
We have a motion and a second to approve an agreement with Placer for analytics for events and business development in the amount of option 2, $16,166, as recommended by Mr. Mylum. Any questions, comments, discussion? That being the case, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it, it's unanimous. Item D8, consideration and action to develop a project for financing street repairs benefiting the business areas. Mr. Mylum.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I'm working on a large project to the tune of about $6.5 million to do quite a few upgrades. Some of them affect the business community, and we'll finance it over about 15 years, 10 years. And the CDC's portion would be a total of about $525,000. And we would do $150,000 a year in the payments. And what it would, if you got in your mind, Alamo Street, well, first let's start off the one by the bank. That's the only one-way street in town. It's need repair. And then if you'll start at 100 and go behind the city hall on Alamo to 3rd to 2nd to 1st, which connects back to the bank, back to those two business complexes that I think it's I don't know all the different businesses across the street from Hector's shop, but it's got several businesses there, so it'll connect those with paving on those. It'll also handle there by Wingstop. You ever seen that? The curb on the opposite side is just I think it's rolled over backwards, and that's Ebony Street, Ocean. But it's a total of 7 blocks is what the CDC portion would be. And it would be financed in the next 4 years, $150,000 a year. So what we would do is just set that up as part of a payment that goes for 4 years and then it goes away. The other agreements that you are part of, I think the utility ones, I think this is the last year or maybe one more year. And then the initial one that you did with the help of alleys is 2 more years of $20,000, and that's gone, paid off. The other, just so you'll have an idea on the other that we're looking at is our tax increment reinvestment zone number 1, which we developed prior to Walmart coming in. And it has about, depending on when we meets the cap, about 3 million over the next 6 years to spend, maybe close to 4 million. So we want to set aside 2.2 right now to help pave Canal Street from Arroyo all the way to Lopez Riggins, and then Mesquite from Lopez Riggins back to 100. If you've ever been, especially on Canal, it has to be, we have to do that in conjunction with some sewer work to fix some sewer lines, upgrade them, but we can do that. So that would be for the TERS to do. The other one is redo Henderson Road. The community there doesn't want it expanded really to a big road because then it'll attract more people, but it's getting bad, and so we would like to upgrade it and then maybe add, if we could add a foot or two without having to change the bar ditches and all that, we would like to do that. In tune of about 2.2 million, those 2 projects. And then the city, the rest would be about 3,725,000. 2 of them that would be really, it can't be funded by the CDC, but yet would be beneficial because it's residential improvements. 5th Street, if you've ever paid attention, 5th Street's never been done this last block behind what's there now where the animal clinic used to be, Wet Paws is. That next street over has never been developed. There's people that own those lots, and we say, well, you get all the people together and upgrade the sewer, the water, and the streets, and we'll put it. That's very hard to make happen. So we've actually, on another grant, done the sewer part, but we need the street, and we need water. And then on Fifth Street, I'm sorry, that's 5th Street. 1st Street, behind, if you go past Wingstop and that whole area there, there's 2 blocks that 1st Street hasn't been developed, past where the apartments are and then past where Sierra RV Park is. And so we would extend that street 2 blocks with water and sewer. The city would do that part. But what that helps CDC is it opens up about, 40 homes that can be built, maybe 35, plus or minus, to be homes that are now shopping at all these businesses. And then there's a bunch of other streets that we would upgrade and repave. So that's the plan, and my question to you is, would you be willing to, the CDC, to participate in that? And I'll be honest, what it helps, the city has about 3 loans that'll be coming due over the next 3 years. And so we don't want to take any capacity current until those start being paid down. So we'll take the money from the CDC and the TERS and use those payments in the first 4 years. And then the city will be the TERS will be paid off, the CDC will be paid off in 4 years, and then the balance the city pays, and it won't increase our debt over year to year. Does that make sense? We'll be able to even out our debt where we don't have to raise taxes, and we can get lots done.
A lot of details, but all I see is this one liner here. You're gonna prepare more details for that, or is this just a general proposal?
General proposal, it'll come back to you for final approval, but I don't want to go forward if we don't have buy-in, then we have to wait 4 or 5 years to do any of this. But if we have general buy-in from this board that says, yes, we're interested, we'll go forward and see what that looks like. Well, it won't look any different than that 150,000 for 4 years.
Okay, I see it as a dual purpose, because we're not only helping the business community, we're helping our community as far as homes and streets, and they're getting much better. And I think we're going down the right road, and I would like to see you put something more detail together, and I, for one, am all for it.
I believe, and I'm second with Mr. Juarez, that if we want to improve the living conditions of our citizens, and, you know, our motto is to Los Fresnos, a city with opportunity, we need to do that in order to provide people and have people move in and see what we've done to attract these people and the businesses also, because I know that we're getting a lot of business come in, and we just have to continue doing what we plan to do and approve what we plan to do.
When you put something together, Mr. Milam, can you also mention on there the sewer improvements? Not necessarily because we're going to pay for them, but just to show that we're not only, redoing a street, we're actually redoing the whole service, the street and the sewer, and water, if that's the case.
That'll be the portions that the city's funding, but I wanted you to see the whole big picture. It's, if we were just doing the CDC streets, I could go out and borrow, we could do the borrow it over 4 years and be done, but I wanted you to see the big picture of what the $6.5 million would do, citywide.
Good. There's no action on this item, is there?
Yes, there is action. That you, and my action is you agree with the concept, and then we bring it back for final approval as we get it put together.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
I recommend approval for the action.
Mr. Bynum, I also approve the project. I think it's important to continue to move forward and beautify our city as we've been doing. And like Mr. Juarez said, we have made great strides in recent years, and I think we should continue. And I think it's good planning. And I agree that we should continue to develop this project.
Mr. Bynum, for this action item, do we have to put a number on this, or just that we're approving the project to move forward?
I'm good with you agreeing with the concept and even stating that you're agreeing with the concept of 150,000 a year for 4 years. And that way it limits us to that and then we bring it back to you when we get the financing and the whole thing together for your approval.
Do I hear a motion?
Yes, sir. I motion to develop the project as described by Mr. Mylum for the financing street repairs and benefiting our business areas with tentative 6.5 million in total approximately, and about 150,000 for the next 4 years for the CDC. And then the city will take over eventually paying those payments.
Correct.
I'll go ahead and second that.
There's a motion and a second. We take action to develop a project for financing street repairs benefiting the business areas to the tune of $150,000 per year for a 4-year period. Any questions, comments, discussion? That being the case, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Mr. Monum, you got a green light. Item E, report by the CDC consultant, Mr. Martinez.
Mr. Chairman, members of the committee, thank you for coming out on such a rainy day. It was good to have some rain for a change. As you can see on the report there, the numbers that provided that we get from our permits, it is in small businesses, and I've always continuously to push or promote that we need more sites, and I think what Mr. Milam had proposed, and thank you for your support, that more sites will be developed within our small community that needs more sites because of a lot of demand, as you can see there in business permits that were issued this month, and as well as new residential brick homes. And the following data, we've been doing a lot of research, and I apologize, was going to send you the information that we have been submitting this month to the U.S. Department of Commerce and our senators and our state representatives. I provided you a copy of the letter transmittal from the mayor to the U.S. To our senators to help us to establish that Los Renos is rural in status, or because many of the USDA programs for businesses are not eligible in the majority of the city. So we did a comprehensive PowerPoint, and I'll send that to you. And thank you to Cameron County Drainage District #1 engineer, provided some information to make this status of geographically we are, as well as other economic and infrastructure, Highway 100, canals, et cetera, are a rural community, as well as this community providing sewer all the way up to Laureles, et cetera, to our rural communities. So I just wanted you to keep informed of how important R&D, not only in Mr. Milam's office, we just presented, which is very, very fruitful, and but also in the CDC in working on day-to-day items that we need to create more opportunities for our community as we grow, and we are growing. But we have those challenges of sites. So the combination of what you just approved and the combination of us moving forward and having others help us to open more doors to our business community, loan guarantees, solar panel projects, et cetera, grants to the rodeo grounds if they need bathrooms, et cetera, et cetera. Right now, they're ineligible under USDA. There's another area that we submitted to the Business and Cooperative Program, an exemption for one site. And it's a little complicated, and you'll see it when we submit it to you by email, that right now the only way that this area, for example, this area you're meeting in is not eligible for USDA programs. But across the street it is, that census tract or that block. This block isn't. So this program under section USDA section 343A 13 will allow for potential new business site in this area to qualify because of a string exemption. In other words, please ask permission from USDA if this side, on this side of the road can qualify for a loan guarantee or bathrooms grants at the rodeo grounds, because we're not on that side of the road, and that is eligible. So there's a lot of detail. You'll see it when you get in the email. But we want you to know that it's a moving activities that we have both in the CDC office and working jointly with the city manager, and of course our chamber, because their position also helps to work, contact the senators and legislators, says, hey, help us out. That's what you're supposed to do for us. At any rate, the other thing, we have started an elderly program, and you can read there that the interns have done a mail out with one of our local employers that helps, that has a customer base of elders in Medicare. And we've gotten 3 applications. There are challenges, and I'm finding out, and having been a builder and know, both residential, commercial, and industrial, understand the detail. One of the challenges, I'll let you know, is that when mobile homes are eligible, if the property owner owns a property and the mobile home, the elder, 60 and older. Single-family homes, if you own the lot and the property and you're 62 and low and moderate income. One of the challenges is they don't know how to describe their needs. So in other words, describe their repairs. So I've been helping out because I know how to do descriptive work of a bathroom or a ramp and detailing it out. As they detail here for the applications for the grants, they have to give you detail and quotes. The other challenge is getting quotes for them out there in the community from contractors. USDA's position is we don't give contracts just to the electrician to do this work or the ramp to do that or the bathroom to do that. We want one general contractor to manage everything out of Edinburgh. That's their position. I said, fine. We'll try. So I'm trying to look for contractors in the area that can do and make quotes for those people to submit their application. Otherwise, the application will be on hold until all the quotes are in. So it's the same process basically that we do with our business community. Been doing it for 20-some years. That's what they need out there in the elderly. And most of these elderly are Spanish speaking, so they need the help. And they don't know how to do other forms, so we're doing it. We're starting it. We're laying the foundation, and we'll start drawing straight lines. And if they're outside of the city limits, we're going to get with the county and say, please help our neighbors to help themselves to get these grants for $10,000 they should well deserve. And reporting also my discussion with USDA, I asked them, how many of these grants have you done in Cameron County rural areas? They said about 10. How many have you done in the RGV? 80. I said, they didn't have any, how many here in Los Renos area, but obviously I know they haven't done any in Los Renos, except one that we helped with some time ago. And I said, why don't you have more participation of the elderly from Los Renos or its ETJ or rural area, our trade area? He says, well, they can apply through the internet. Most people my age don't have a degree, a master's degree, and filling out applications or doing cost estimating or getting contracts or getting quotes. So I told them, look, we're going to start this thing and close the gap and start getting more people from those Fresno's Market area and the county, the joint venture, to expand that so we can have our share of our elderly, 60 and over, get those $10,000 grants. And so that's what I'm doing. Finally, and I want to thank the chamber because they're also putting the word out on this. And the sponsored promotions, activities, and others, we just continue working with the chamber, and they refer a lot of folks to us. There's a couple of businesses I'm working with their business plans and sites, and working with Jackie's office and all that on their sites, so they can start up. One that's very, very fulfilling to me, because they sell regionally. They're expanding the business, starting a little 10-by-10 office. They're now going and bought the property. They probably don't qualify for a USDA loan, but I'm working on it for a loan guarantee. But they do sell throughout the region. And I can't expose it right now because they're just kicking off. But I'll keep you informed of the real good things that are happening in your town by people getting empowered by having a one-stop center, as we have here because of y'all. And I thank you very much. If you have any questions, any referrals? Oh, and I also want to do a big shout out to Chad Benson and his fellowship group. We had a whole bunch of kids here at the 4th of July also that came in from College Station. And they were helping out, cleaning out elderly's or low-income families or disabled families' lots in the area. I just want to give them the acknowledgement that they are due for doing, and they do this every summer. So if there's any other questions, give me a call.
Thank you, Mr. Martinez. Moving on to item F, report by general manager under A, Veterans Memorial. Mr. Milo.
Yes, sir. They have done some work on the memorial. The two pillars have been removed from the middle and on the outside, so making progress. Hopefully by the end of summer, we'll have it done. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Milo. Moving on to item G, time is 6:53, meeting adjourned.